A very warm welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us at NHRDN People CEO Awards presentation ceremony. We are privileged to have with us a distinguished lineup of dignitaries and award winners and a distinguished audience. I extend a very warm welcome to the dignitaries who have taken their seats on the dais. We begin the inaugural session with the President's address. I take the pleasure of requesting Mr. Rajiv Dubey, National President, NHRDN, to kindly deliver his address.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the NHRDN and everyone who's here, I would like to extend a very warm welcome and a big thank you to the Honorable Minister. We are aware of the pressures on his time. The NHRDN is the leading national apex body of professionals, and we are committed to enhancing human capital in all its forms. We have focused till now largely on HR professionals, but I think we are going to slowly make sure that we look at people development. Not only do we want to create people who are competent, we also want to ensure that these competent people have a commitment beyond themselves, extending even to society. We conduct large numbers of programs, essentially to create a platform where forever we are stretching boundaries, seeking best practices, sharing good practices, and trying to create a passion and energy so that we create a better tomorrow's company and a better tomorrow's India. Thank you very much and welcome to the session.
We have with us the Conclave Chairman, Mr. S.Y. Siddiqui, who's also the Chief Mentor representing Maruti Suzuki India Limited. May I now take the pleasure of requesting him to kindly present his remarks.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We looked at this very real problem in front of us, challenge in front of us. We are getting global, how we are going to handle it, both from the CEO's perspective, top leadership perspective, human resources perspective. Because tomorrow, perhaps, that's what we are going to see. Precisely for me, last 11 years at Maruti, I only remember one thing which is very global in our setup, that I work twice the hours than you people work, because we have to interpret everything to the Japanese. So 1 hour meeting will take 2 hours simply. And even in 2 hours, sometimes things may not get properly communicated. Are we prepared to adjust and adapt to these kinds of diversity issues, people coming from different cultures, different economies, different perspectives? When we discuss human resources in the Indian context, it is a different animal than what my Japanese colleagues will discuss human resources from the Japan perspective. Their understanding is completely different. Because one simple fact of life, when we talk of attrition, retention, engagement, surveys, Japan doesn't happen because there is nobody who's leaving a company. Really, a guy joins a company and he's working throughout his career for that company. Somewhere global will bring in these kinds of diverse issues in business, environment, and people-related perspective. Perhaps one thing which I also see as a tough challenge going forward, which perhaps all of us are facing at some point of time or other, we'll have to see the future before it becomes obvious to others. Today, perhaps in Maruti, I know 2018, there will be a kind of a vacuum. 46% of the top will be superannuating by that time. What is the backup plan B? Is what we are working since 2010. It's about 8 years in advance. That's the kind of forecasting, analytical perspective, and envisioning the future into the present. Perhaps when we are looking at global trends, then old car business is a reality, with 40–50% of the market being led by old car sales. Exchange is what we started 10 years back in the company. Business strategy, envisioning the future perspective. We also have to recognize this ethical perspective as the responsibility of the corporate, the CEO, especially the HR leadership, towards all stakeholders. And all stakeholders also means community, also means our country. In case of Maruti, I share with you, to just end this perspective, that when Suzuki became owner of Maruti Suzuki after disinvestment by the government of India, then this name was to change. Maruti Udyog Limited. Maruti Udyog Limited, the name was to change. And the change name we discussed, a lot of discussions with Japanese and for us with the head office at Hawamasu, is that it will be Maruti Suzuki India Limited. Why? We wanted both the identities to be part of this name, Maruti and Suzuki, but we also wanted our country to continue appearing somewhere in the scheme of things for this. So I wish you all the very best and welcome you to this program.
Honorable Minister, dignitaries on the dais, friends, award winners, great to have you all here. As Rajiv shared with you about NHRDN. So Honorable Minister, this is to give you a view why these awards and how and for what have been constituted. National HRD Network, as many of you will know, have been held these awards since 1989, and we used to run these awards on a biennial basis. However, about a year ago, a diverse workforce group was set up wherein the question was debated that how do we involve one of the most important stakeholders, which is the chief executives of the organization, in the HR movement more actively. They are the ones who are real champions of people practices, but somehow we are not able to engage with them on a very active basis. And that's why a decision was taken that we will create an award category for National HRD Network at an apex level called People CEO Awards. That's how these awards were instituted and came into being last year. And that unfolded us to another important question: what kind of awards will be given? So 5 categories were identified with a lot of debate and discussion. One category is, of course, the Private Sector CEO Award for private sector leadership. Second category is public sector, which is an important pillar of our economy. And we said how we will be acknowledge the CEOs of public sectors. Third category was created specifically focusing around women CEOs. That how will we get the women CEOs and acknowledge them for the leadership that they are displaying. Fourth is the MSME. We can't ignore this segment because this is something which is driving the economic growth. And finally, which a lot of us love to acknowledge and adore, is the younger leadership. So how do we have the young category? So these were the 5 categories were created for all of us, our reference. After that, the nominations were invited, and a lot of media was scanned through an independent agency, which ran a whole program, detailed, wherein about 100 plus CEOs were identified in different categories. And an independent jury with EY as partner formed, and then we got Economic Times Now, or ET Now, as a media partner to constitute these awards. So in closure, I will say this jury has made a wonderful effort in putting together these final names. This is the context that I wanted to share with all of you. Now I hand over back to the announcer for the awards, and we will proceed to the awards. Thank you very much once again, and thank you to the jury members once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, while your success is celebrated by many, but if your achievements are recognized by your peers, that is always memorable. Today we celebrate that recognition through NHRDN People CEO Awards. We begin with the recipient of People CEO Awards in the category MSME, and to introduce the awardee, may I invite on stage Mr. L. Prabhakar, Head, Human Resources ITC Agri-Business Division and Regional President, South, NHRDN.
Morning, everybody. My pleasure and privilege to share details about the winner, Mr. C. Shivakumar. Focusing on people in an era when technology was thought to be the key differentiator for success, Mr. C. Shivakumar has been instrumental in transforming Prabha Engineers from a tiny unit with 10 employees to a leading SME player employing over 850 people today. National HRD Network is privileged to confer People CEO Award on Mr. C. Shivakumar, Chief Executive Officer, Prabha Engineers.
It is now my privilege to request Mr. Anurag Malik, partner EY, to kindly join us on stage to introduce the recipient of People CEO Award in the category Young Leadership.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure and privilege to read out the citation for our winner, Mr. Pirosha Godrej. In the 10 years he has been at Godrej Properties, he has led the company from being a small single-digit state developer to its current position of being among India's leading developers with a presence in 12 cities across the country. NHRD Network is privileged to confer People CEO Award to Mr. Pirosha Godrej, Managing Director and CEO Godrej Properties.
Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, Mr. Pirosha Godrej could not join us here today. However, his award is being received by a colleague. Heartiest congratulations. It gives me great pleasure to now invite on stage Ms. Vishpala Reddy, Head HR Amex, to introduce the recipient of People CEO Awards in the category Women Leadership.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my privilege to be here to introduce to us our very next award winner, Dr. Preeta Reddy. As a dynamic People CEO, Dr. Preeta Reddy has engaged employees in sharpening Apollo's focus in the areas of global clinical trials, wellness healthcare consulting, business process operations, and healthcare technology services. The National HRD Network is privileged to confer the People CEO Award to Dr. Preeta Reddy, Executive Vice Chairperson, Apollo Hospitals Enterprise Limited.
May I now invite on stage Mr. Anurag Malik, partner EY, to introduce the winner of the recipient of People CEO Award from private sector.
It's my privilege and honor to introduce to all of you our next award winner, Mr. Himanshu Kapania, CEO of Idea Cellular. Himanshu Kapania has used people power and team building skills to establish Idea as the fastest growing Indian telecom operator at twice the pace of the industry. National HRD Network is privileged to confer People CEO Award on Mr. Himanshu Kapania.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to the People CEO Award in the category Public Sector. And to introduce the winner, may I invite on stage Mr. L. Prabhakar, Regional President South, NHRDN, and Head Human Resources ITC Agribusiness Division.
Pleasure and privilege to introduce Dr. R.K. Tyagi. A dynamic leader, Dr. Tyagi is passionate about people-first development in order to build leadership pipeline. Hundreds of senior officers of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited have undergone rigorous training. He believes in promoting research. He has set up chairs at various IITs, and R&D spend of HAL under his leadership is much higher than industry standards. National HRD Network is privileged to confer the People CEO Award on Dr. R.K. Tyagi, Chairman, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited.
Congratulations, Dr. R.K. Tyagi. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me once again in applauding all our winners today. Our heartiest congratulations to you all. I now request the Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Piyush Goyal, the Honorable Minister of State with independent charge for power, coal and new and renewable energy, to kindly release a souvenir which has been brought out to commemorate this momentous occasion.
Very distinguished and very eminent persons from trade, industry, business, public sector, and of course all the awardees, very, very well-deserved awards. My compliments to you, hearty congratulations, and I'm sure this award will only encourage you to do better in life, serve the nation, serve your organizations going forward, and also compliments to the National HRD Network for initiating this award. And I think what all of you are doing is absolutely wonderful work. And the kind of role that HR professionals have in the making of India, not only the organizations that you work for, not only institutions, not only institutions of excellence, but I think in the future of India. All of you have a role to play which is, in my personal opinion, going to be the most critical role as we shape India's destiny in the days to come and in the years to come. I started my professional work when I was 17, trying to seed a small-scale industry. The first thing I ever did in life was to start setting up a brick manufacturing unit, refractory bricks in Punjab. And then working through the government offices in Rajpura and Chandigarh. My partner had once told me that don't worry about the bricks, whether we manufacture refractories or no, it doesn't matter. It's the coal linkage which matters. And he said we'll make more money out of the selling that coal that we will get than out of making the bricks. And somehow that thing stuck in my mind, and we finally never set up that plant. It didn't make a business case, business sense. But why I give this example is because I think some of these early lessons remain very sharply embedded in your mind about what shapes our own destinies, what shapes a person's growth in any organization, in the work we do. And that is where I think the HR professional or the person who runs the whole organization's engine through managing the set of people who work for a company, and HR could transcend all sorts of organizations. I think when we are working as HR professionals, the entire future, the entire progress of any organization that we work for is ultimately going to be dependent on the development of that human being, because no organization is complete without human skills. I have yet to come across a single issue in my life where there is no human interface. You can develop the best of robotics, you can do what you like, but end of the day, it's the human interface. So what you do in terms of training, in terms of managing the environment of organizations, in terms of ensuring discipline, in terms of making sure processes are followed, projects are implemented well, honesty and integrity of organizations and the people behind it. I think all of that put together, in a way, cutting across different departments, different silos of any organization, I think HR plays that critical role which is at the epicenter of any organization. And I would like to compliment all of you, very illustrious persons, Santrop, Dr. Khandelwal, all the eminent persons here. And given the vast experience that I see before me and in your organization and in the kind of work your organization does, I see great hope and great promise for the India of tomorrow. I wish all of you very, very successful careers in your own professional and personal lives. And I also wish you great success, as I hope each one of you will start looking at serving the nation also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, sir, for your gracious presence and for this address. I now take the pleasure of inviting Mr. Kamal Singh, Director General, NHRDN, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Distinguished Chief Guest, Honorable Minister for State with Independent Charge for Power, Coal and New and Renewable Energy, Mr. Piyush Goyal, distinguished awardees, speakers, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, we are really grateful to our Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Piyush Goyal, Honorable Union Minister, for having first accepted our invitation to join us and then making this inaugural address so lively and powerful. So your presence truly bears testimony to your deep commitment to human resource management and NHRDN in particular. Your inaugural address really brought so much thought leadership on such apt and contemporary theme today. We shall certainly like to pick up some of the issues and deliberate on them in our board and take them forward. I will certainly like to then move on to the next thanking to our own core committee led by Mr. S.Y. Siddiqui and several people. They all have been providing a strong and visionary leadership in NHRDN for many years and continue to provide their valuable guidance. All of them have really helped us to put this agenda of the conclave together, and their support have been phenomenal and unparalleled. Thank you indeed.
I won the Best People CEO Award in the MSME category. It was a grand function, and I'm delighted winning this award, not for myself, but for the entire people, the team that works for me. It's about 850, spread over 3 locations, 2 in Hosur and 1 in Alwar, Rajasthan.
Well, I think it was a recognition of the number of people who work with the Apollo Group, and I'd like to thank the organizers for that. I know they've recognized me in the women's category, but I really think that it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, as long as you work with integrity and focus and really achieve what you set out to do.
I'm extremely happy to be awarded the People CEOs Award for the private sector. And I understand this is the first of its kind. This award has been given, and it has undergone through a massive research, both from the financial sector as well as from the experts and academicians, including surveys from employees across India.
I believe that the basic job of the CEO is to create a culture. And culture is nothing but the way people behave in everyday life, especially when they go about taking business decisions, that does 3 things simultaneously. The beginning and the end, of course, has to be sustained business outperformance. That goes without saying. But at the same time, to show extreme care for all stakeholders, customers, employees, shareholders, and communities now. And the third thing is nurturing and nourishing the core values of the group.
The National HRD Network is the largest professional body for HR professionals in India. And its basic mission is to, one side, to recognize excellence, the other side is to build the capability of people all around. And also at the same time, how do we prepare our people for tomorrow's world? And when we thought of doing the CEO's Conclave, the only aim we had in mind, how do we connect CEOs with the HR agenda? That was the prime objective of bringing the CEO's Conclave in the calendar of the NHRDN.